Hello everybody, welcome to this playthrough for Pro Division with the tournament win here in Golf Clash the game and the Liberty tournament. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and make sure that you do subscribe to the channel. Like button in the bottom right corner, click that one, also hit the bell button so you get a notification every time there's a live stream or a new video. Also get more Golf Clash related content for free by going to golfclashtommy.com. And last but not least, the best guides on the market by far on patreon.com/golfclashtommy, link directly in the description down below. Follow the info box on the right hand side to get the elevation adjustment for the drive for the second shot, and also what type of ball and club type I would think would be the best ones for you to play with. Have in mind though that you don't need to follow everything to the letter. I'm happy if I can help you out with just one hole and to bring you closer to your goal. But make sure to have your pen and paper ready and take some notes here for this playthrough. Can we get this video up to 100 likes? That would be amazing. So hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. I would be forever grateful. So let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, we're going to look for a simple method here, and that is that we're going to look for the top of the white ring by the start of the fringe, at the same time as the blue ring to the right is by the rough line. And the reason we're using that is to apply a consistent landing area where we in the end then can just only tweak the spin. 3.2 backspin, and I'm using 1.5 bar left the spin as well. Now adjusting medium distance with a 10% over adjustment, and we're also pulling over the bullseye. Very important. Now it's time to take our shot. Very important that you are centered into the adjustment range, so you're not having some curl or overpower or underpower that we do not want to have. The ball is bouncing and it comes in with a very good speed, but problem is that we do miss left. So I would recommend to play with 1 bar of side spin to the left instead of the 1.5 bar, and then I do believe. So for hole number 2, you're going to see me be all over the place here with my target before I decide what to do. But listen to what I'm saying here, and the thing that we do want to do is to go 3 bars of topspin, max left spin with a berserker ball. The reason we do play with a berserker ball is to give ourselves the distance both for the drive and then also for the second shot. So the second shot will basically become an option between 2 options, which I'm gonna go over in just a bit. Half of the red ring inside the rough there to the left, and we are stretching out to trying to see and visualize our bounces there on the fairway. In the end, I do eventually decide for 3 bars of topspin. We do adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. We push up our club into max, then go with a tiny little bit of overpower. You just want the needle to just start wobbling, and then that's gonna be fine. But that means that shot is what you're gonna do with an extra mile level 5, 6, 7, or also with a Thor's hammer. And the reason for that is because we do have less distance than what we do have with an extra mile level 8 or 9. So if you do have an extra mile level 8 or 9, you should not push up, you should not go with overpower, just play it as it is. Then you will get the distance that you're looking for still. Second shot, now we're gonna play with no elevation, and it's going to be an option amongst between 2 options. One, you can go for a rough bump, and that, in my opinion, it all depends on what type of distance you're getting with your driver. Because now the rough bump, you are most likely going to have to go with like stretching out your target a little bit to visualize the spot with the ball guideline towards the pin. Very tough to get the spin correct here. You can see that I'm looking to try to look at the ball guideline to get there. But obviously, as the drive is a little bit shorter than intended, then we are going to have to push up our club in the end. We push up approximately 3 rings. That's at least my target. And the reason I push up a little bit more than we were into overpower is that we do go from a higher to a lower point. So if, let's say, we wouldn't be going into overpower with our target, then I would recommend you to push up 2 rings instead of the original 1. This to gain the distance that we do need. If you don't want to take that type of shot, then we are going to play before the bunker and the rough instead, and we're going to bounce ourselves up towards the pin. This is a more inconsistent line, and it's going to end up more left or right from time to time. You can see of the ball guideline that just moving a little will make the ball guideline go a bit crazy. From +8 here, I do adjust 75% of my club as an adjustment, which means in between medium and maximum, but I would recommend here to actually play medium distance, as you will notice that I will miss a little bit to the right. No elevation for the second shot here either with this version, and the reason I wanted to show you both ways was due to that I wanted to give you two alternatives, that one of them is not as aggressive as the rough bump is going to be. But in the end though, this is a tough par 4, one of the tougher we have in the whole game. Getting an eagle here in whatever way you're playing is going to be a massive bonus. A power 5 ball, in my opinion, is to get ourselves the distance once again, so we're not going to struggle due to whatever happens when doing our drive. Play with our quarterback, and here we do want to play with the 3 bars of topspin, and the reason I do only play with 3 bars of topspin is due to it to be adapted to lower level quarterbacks as well. White ring by the rough line, adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, then you're going to push up your club into maximum distance. I'm using a Kingmaker, so have that in mind. If you're using Titan, you might not be able to push up to max with certain wind, but with a Kingmaker you can push up to maximum distance every single time. 339 yards, and then the second shot, you can see that I do play with a sniper level 10. If you do have a sniper 9 or 10, I would recommend to play with a sniper 9 and 10, even though we're going to have to go with overpower. This to give ourselves, you know, first and foremost a little bit more distance than lower level sniper, but also control, as having to hit with overpower accuracy is going to be super valuable if we do hit a great ball. If you do not have a club like that, then you play with the Cataclysm or the Big Dog, and just making sure that you're getting over to the fairway, and this is the spot that we're looking for. Now we're going to play the third shot for a rough bump, and the rough bump here is going to be played with a long iron that do have at least a 2.5 bar topspin. If you do play with the Grizzly level 7, I would recommend you to play with the Grizzly level 7 instead of the Goliath, because the difficulty we have with the Goliath is not to catch the funnel, it's actually to know, are we gonna be enough when it comes to speed towards the hole? Because here I leave the ball guideline short deliberately, this due to the fact that we don't have a fully developed ball guideline. But where I'm using here 2 to 3 bars of topspin, and also combined with 2 to 3 bars of side spin to the left. And the only thing here I would like you to do is to move a little bit more left, so we can catch the slope a little bit more to the left, and therefore have the speed enough to get the ball to roll down towards the pin. So unfortunately here we don't have speed enough, but you can see we're right at line, and this funnel is absolutely massive. So if we can just get the spin a little bit more correct, then it's going to be better. The third shot elevation is minus 20%. Weird? Yeah, it is. Minus 20%, and we do play that one from 25% club. And when would you determine if the 25% club or not? That is, you see here, the +4 with Thorn is our starting point when it's our turn. So use the +4 as a node. So it's your turn, and it says +4 on your Thorn or Hornet, whatever short iron you have, then you play Goliath or whatever long iron you have, 25% of your club minus 20%, and then you're going to be spot on. But this funnel is massive. For hole number 4, I'm going to play with the Guardian. The reason I'm going to play with the Guardian is due to the fact that it's very tough to find any spots on the fairway that is consistent. And the most consistent part I found is the Guardian. So I'm looking with max backspin, 1 right spin, and then I'm looking for the second and the third bounce. So look, we have the second bounce just above, like just inside the dark green square row, approximately 1 green square above the pin, and then the third bounce after that as well. We're gonna take that one once again. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment is what I'm using here in terms of adjustment. And now we do have a 6 miles per hour, which is pretty high when it comes to pro. The ball bounces nicely, we get up there and we get it to fall back down and we miss right. So the thing that tells me is that we should either do two things. Either we add the 2 decimals to our adjustment, which means that we do need to add elevation, or we change position and move a little bit more left. So let's take a look at it once again, and let's try to think about this as we would be moving our position a little bit more left. I do believe that's going to be easier here. So let's say that the position would be a little bit there. That's the position I would like us to use. So in the center of that green square row, instead of that to be just outside instead. So center. Make sure you pause, take a screenshot yourself if it's hard to follow. Pull your reins over the bullseye, and we do have once again max plus 10, and then we will see ourselves coming in a little bit more left, and therefore will be lethal and very close to the hole. So in the end though, I take away the sniper or the Goliath shot here due to it being very inconsistent in terms of finding landing position, and therefore I go with the Guardian. For hole number 5, we're going to have the best possible opportunity to get an eagle or something extra to drop. So very important that you are focused. Here, I first think, okay, let's go with a Titan, give ourselves more distance. But I do in the end go with the Katana. I like the Katana. Here, 4 bars of top spin. I'm not using any left spin whatsoever. I'm also not using any right spin whatsoever either. We are going to adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. And once we have done that, we're going to push up our club again. And we're going to push up our club 2 rings, as you can see here. 2 rings in total, and that goes with an extra mile level 7. And if you do have an extra mile level 8 or 9, I would push up 1 ring instead. And if I would be going down as low as extra mile 4, 3, 2, 1, I would push up 2.5 to 3 rings instead. The only thing that we're looking for here though is to get the ball to fairway to approximately 370 yards. Now you may be wondering, now we should follow the yardage. No, we should not. We need to take a look if we are, higher up than we want to. First and foremost, I'm kind of looking at the rough bump here because there is a funnel there towards the pin, but I do not seem to find it. So I do go back and play a normal shot instead with 2 references, which I'm going to follow all the time. First, we do have the blue ring to the left by the fringe with the white ring to the top right by the rough. And then I'm going to apply, approximately 1 bar of backspin, leaving the ball guideline inside the funnel, and it shows that we're gonna go right, but as that funnel slopes down left, we're going to see the ball falling down very, very nicely to the pin. Medium distance adjustment is what I'm doing here. And I do adjust over the bullseye, and we get that one in to drop very nicely. You can see how we took the turn to the left there, and that's because there is a funnel there, pretty massive one. Have in mind though that if you do play with a thorn level 8 or 9, then you will have the ball guideline to the pin. That goes the same with the Hornet level 8 or 9 as well. But as soon as we do have level 7 or below, we are going to have to guesstimate a little bit with the ball guideline. So it's not a 100%er, but this is the best opportunity we do have in the whole tournament. For hole number 6, we're going to go straight forward. Here, I would strongly recommend you to change to a driver that do have at least 6 bars of topspin. X-Mile 7 does not, so therefore I go with Apocalypse. But look what I do forget there. I do forget that I do have the Guardian in my bag. Stupid! 6 bars of topspin, and then we're going to add some side spin to the left as well. And here we're going to look for the red ring B by the edge of that cliff. But have in mind that that red ring will be different if you're using a different club. And we're going to adjust maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. And once that is done, we're not going to use any curl, any top, like overpower or underpower whatsoever. Playing with a power 3 ball here is an absolute minimum. I would almost stretch it towards, if you can play with power 4 or power 5 ball, I would do that in a heartbeat. Because the thing that's going to happen now for the second shot is that first and foremost we have the freaking Guardian. So we're not going to have all the distance that we're needed. But even with the big dog and a power 3 ball, we will be struggling getting the distance and will most likely in many times have to go very close, if not maximum overpower, and I absolutely hate that. So if you can play with a power 4 or a power 5 ball to give yourself the distance for the second shot, again, I would do it in a heartbeat. So it might be worth spending one ball type like that to give ourselves a better shot towards the pin, because now we are endangering stuff when going with overpower here, that with a bad shot to the left we might go directly into the rough. If we misjudge the backspin, we're gonna fall down into the bunker. Now this shot becomes better than what I was expecting, but at the same time we make it so hard for ourselves. So power 4 ball or power 5 ball if possible. 20% over adjustment, max distance for the drive, nothing for the second shot, so no elevation, and we're going to play maximum distance numbers, even if it's a power 4 or a power 5 ball too, that we play with. For hole 7 we are going to use a side spin 3 ball. I think it's very important, as then we can actually stay away from having to use curl. I'm also using the extra mile here, and the reason I'm using the extra mile is because I do want to have the distance and don't have to push up or have to go with overpower for the drive. If you do play with the Thor's Hammer or the Apocalypse, you can play with those as well. The thing that I want to get at, or my point is, we want to have power with our driver. So a normal driver is the one to play with. I'm using half of the red ring inside the rough to the left, with the yellow ring very close to the top end rough. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and we're playing with max left spin and 3 bars of top spin. Sure, you can use more top spin here, but the thing that will make is that you will then get to use less side spin. So make sure that you're not using too much top spin, so that will be on the cost of you getting very close to the bunker on the right. 334 yards, which is very important to have in mind, as this is sort of a linear hole where yardage is going to be valuable to use. Now I'm going to use one reference here, and that is white ring by the rough line to the right, and from there I will be applying spin. So if we look at the spin here, we're using 2 bars of backspin, I'm using 3 bars of side spin to the right. Ball guideline directly to the hole. In the end, though, we see that it takes a little turn left, but that is accounted for. Ball guideline should be pointing directly at hole, and a little short due to the slight little tailwind that we do have with our shot. Adjustment from 334 is medium distance with no elevation. And I'm pulling over the bullseye, which is very important for me to address, because if you don't pull over the bullseye, you will have a different amount of rings to adjust. Ball bounces nicely on the fairway, we like the turn it takes, and it rolls very nicely at the pin for an eagle here on hole 7. They might look easy, but this is not an easy hole to drop. So make sure you use the reference with the white ring by the rough line, apply the 2 backspin, 3 right spin, ball guideline to the hole, and the 334 yards is based on a perfect drive. Get in the hole! For hole number 8, we are going to attempt either the rough bump or we're going to go directly at green. I would tell you in the end what I recommend. First and foremost, we do play with the sniper if we're gonna go for the rough bump, and I would recommend you to go with a ball that has at least wind resistance 3. Now we're going to have to, in the end, go with 3 bars of topspin, and we're gonna see ourselves have, 4 bars of topspin, obviously, not 3. Ball guideline will go slightly through the hole, and you can see that the yellow ring is basically perfectly placed inside the rough. Now I do adjust for a minimum distance, and with a 10% over adjustment here, but I would strongly recommend you to play with minus 10% for this rough bump, because in the end we will hit the rough very low here, as you will see, and we are very close to the bunker. So minus 10% minimum distance numbers is what we're gonna do with a rough bump. And obviously, making a -10% adjustment or a +10 adjustment will make a difference if you go in between clubs or not, because -10% will make you not go in between clubs. The +10 will. If we don't want to take that shot, then I would strongly recommend the Guardian. Here you need to have max backspin, which is the Guardian level 6 plus. Lower level Guardians do not have the amount of backspin needed. Now I'm using a very easy reference here with the yellow ring by the French, red ring by the rough there, but have in mind as well that the Guardian with a lower or a higher level is going to be different sizes of the rings due to different accuracy. So we do want to look at the ball guideline as well to have the second bounce and the third bounce following the position that we do want. Max backspin, and we are going to go with 10% over adjustment, minimum distance numbers. And you can see here that we are a little bit too heavy with our pull here, getting it very close. But I would recommend here to actually move up a smidge with our position to get the ball guide or to get the slope in a better position. So what's the positive and the negative things with it all? The rough bump, we have a ball guideline to follow with the sniper, which makes the landing position be easier to find. The negative part with it is that we do have a very little space to play on. So if we do over adjust or under adjust, we will be having a major issue some of the times. With the Guardian, we are having a super simple birdie. So we're never going to risk that. And we have a good chance for a hole-in-one. But the landing position is hard to replicate. So what do we choose? I would choose the Guardian because I do feel that I have a good chance of looking at the bounces there. But at the same time, it's up to you to choose what you feel comfortable with. These are the two options I will go forward with, and I do believe to be the best and general way to play hole number 8. Last but not least, we do have hole number 9, another tough par 5 to play here, and I would like us to play with the extra mile if possible, is because then we do have a very nice reference to go on. Max side spin to the right, I'm having half of the red ring inside the rough to the right, 3 bars of topspin, but you will notice that I will change to 3.2 bars of topspin instead in just a bit. We are going to adjust here maximum distance with a 5% over adjustment, and here you see the change. So 3.2 topspin, max side spin to the right. We are in complete max distance with extra mile level 7. We adjust maximum distance with a 5% over adjustment, and then you can see that we are applying a curl that is with the right side of the ball to be just outside the adjustment ring to the right. We don't want to go with too much, we definitely don't want to go with too little, and this one comes in very, very nicely, as there is no risk going up there on the left side because it will fall down into the center. Sure, if you do want or feel there is a big risk for you of hitting a great left, you might be a great lefty, then go with a little bit more curl to the right, you compensate for that. If you do play with an extra mile level 8 or 9, have in mind that you do need to back up a little bit, or like, let's say like this, you cannot be in max distance, so you will have to be in approximately plus 12, plus 13 with your position, because otherwise you will struggle having the same distance as an extra mile level 7. All those type of things is something that we do need to think about, and I'm trying to be more vocal with that in the playthroughs going forward. Second shot, we're gonna play with the blue ring by the rough, and we're going to use the plus 3 yard mark as a reference here with our sniper level 9. If you do have a sniper level 6 or below, I would not recommend to play with a sniper, as then you will struggle with distance. Then I would go with the Guardian instead. But now when we do have a sniper that is in this high level, then we will definitely play it. 4.5 bar backspin and then 2.5 bar side spin to the right. The most importantly is the blue ring by the rough line, ball guideline to the hole. The thing that I do here, that I do adjust for is 75% of my club. And the problem I do have here is that I will be missing to the left, and I needed that little extra adjustment. So from plus 3 yard mark, with our sniper, after setting the spin in position, we adjust maximum distance with a minus 10% under adjustment. And then we're going to be super duper close if we do hit perfect. This is a tough par 5 where the drive is everything, but after the drive, I would consider this to be a very good chance for an albatross. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough with the tournament win here for Golf Clash the game and the Liberty tournament. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and make sure that if you do have any questions, you can always use the email function in the description down below, or you use it on our website. You can also obviously make a comment in the comment section below as well. I'm trying to give you ways that can work with different type of clubs and different type of balls. I'm not and I do want you obviously to think about that when you're looking at this playthrough. We do have some very good shots already dialed in here, and we definitely have some embryos on the rest though. The trick here is obviously to look at hole number 5 as a must eagle. We do need to get that one, and that's going to be our absolute main focus, together with trying to get hole 3 as an eagle. I do believe the scores will not be as high as normal, as low as normal in the tournament. In the end though, thank you so much for watching and good luck in the Liberty tournament.